In a world filled with ones and zeros, gluten-free bread, small talk, and the color beige, there live among us a few brave souls who break the mold, irritating their neighbors, making a mess, playing pretend, and letting their imaginations fly free. They are the Creatives! They're here to answer a question so consequential that it transcends both space and time. And that question is, so when are you going to get a real job?
P.S. This interview was filmed over Zoom and may contain the occasional sound or video glitch. All complaints can be sent to the elders of the internet. P.P.S. In the event of adult content and bad language being used, cover your ears and sing la 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 la. And now, on with the interview.
Ashleigh studied the performing arts at Wits University after being captivated by a production of a Shakespeare play in her final year of school. Her love affair with the bard has been unbreakable since, and has seen her work in productions of Romeo and Juliet, The Taming of the Shrew, A Midsummer Night's Dream, The Tempest, Hamlet, Macbeth, Twelfth Night, A Winter's Tale, Much Ado About Nothing, and many more. Her acting talent has also transcended onto the silver screen, appearing in the Cakenet short film Near My Psalm, The Bookmark, featured in the 48-Hour Film Festival, the South African series Binnelanders, Mnet's Laugh Out Loud, The Wrong Man's for the BBC Two, and feature films Mandela's Gun and Mia and the White Lion. Now let's move back to the theatre. Ashleigh has starred in Ingrid Wilde's 448 Psychosis at the National Arts Festival. She played Susan in Death of a Colonialist at the Market Theatre. She was Rolly in Fiona Ramsey's Pests, and Alice in Megan Wilson's Odd Man Out, to name but a few. Apart from being an incredible actress, Ashleigh's other talent is singing. Her and her husband make up the band Josie Flo and are performing gigs on the regular. But that's not the only singing she does. She is a brilliant musical theatre performer. She starred in Stephen Stead's production of the Sondheim musical Into the Woods as the wicked stepsister Lucinda. She doubled as Kate Monster and Lucy the Slut in the cult hit musical Avenue Q, directed by Timothy LaRue, earning her an Lady Award nomination for her performance. She landed the role of a lifetime when she was cast as Fanny Bryce in the Fugard's production of Funny Girl, directed by Matthew Wilde, earning her a well-deserved Fleur de Cap nomination for Best Actress in a Musical. And now, without further ado, here she is.
Okay, are we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Hello, welcome. We've decided to do a little icebreaker with you, getting to know you questions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, someone is paying for your holiday. Where are you going?
New York.
What are you doing? What are you doing in New York?
I am seeing tons of theatre because COVID doesn't exist. And mainly theatre, but also just general. I'm shopping is what I'm doing in New York. I'm buying Jimmy Choos.
If you could be any mythical creature, which one would you be?
I'd be a dragon. Yeah. Or a witch, like the fairy tale witch. But yeah, I don't know, a dragon is good. I'm going to stick with dragon.
Alrighty.
Okay.
What are you eating as your last meal?
Oh God. Vegan peanut butter, Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
Ooh, okay. All right. What sport would you never ever do, no matter how much someone paid you?
I don't know. Synchronized swimming.
Okay. You are trapped in an elevator, but you can pick a celebrity to be with you. Who are you choosing?
Gillian Anderson.
What is the last song you listened to?
The last song I listened to was Boys of Summer by Don Henley.
If you were a ghost, what would you be doing right now?
What would I be doing if I was a ghost right now? I'd be checking out if people could actually see me. Sure. Can people really see ghosts? I'd be doing shit to scare people, to see what the.
So you'd be a naughty ghost. What the fuck?
Ah. Oh my God, wouldn't you?
No, I'd be very kind. I'd leave people presents. I'd help them Not get hit by buses? I'd pull them out of the way. Not. You'd be naughty, sure.
Yeah.
People would think that you were being like scary and possessy, even if you were trying to help people.
You think?
You know what I mean? If you were walking down the street and suddenly something grabbed you and pulled you, you wouldn't think, oh, they saved my life. They'd be like, fucking hell, it goes. Just touch me.
They'd be like, fuck, I wish I had been hit by that car because now I have to deal with existential issues.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You know?
If you had a time machine, where would you go?
I'd go back to the Elizabethan era and watch some original Shakespeare.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to sing and I wanted to be on stage. Yeah.
What is your go-to dance move?
Oh, okay, wait, hold on. No, but now, guys, you can't even see. And now this is going to break because I'm on my phone. Okay, what do I do on my gigs? Now you're going to see my shorts. I'm not showing you my shorts because it's a disaster. Like, this is great. And then this is a disaster area. It's like, what's my go-to move? It's like, fuck you, Rebecca, you bitch.
That's
kind of it. Like a lot of isolation in the chest. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then I try and get all sexy. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Especially with that look in your face. Yeah, it works with the face. You're just doing. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. Thanks for that.
Those are good questions.
So moving right on, Ash, can you tell us how are you really doing?
You mean middle of COVID?
Life in general, how are you really, really doing without putting on that Instagram filter?
The fake Facebook life. How am I really doing? Every day is different. Every day brings some new sort of emotion and feeling. For the large part during this COVID time, I've been quite sad and very depressed, like quite depressed. And I think, you know, performers are strange. Well, people are strange. We derive a lot of meaning from what we do. And so when you're not able to do what you do, you start to feel like, what is the point? What does this all mean? So I've had those kinds of days as well. You feel kind of a bit useless. But then there've been other days where I've been able to rest and relax and sort of try and take stock of just my life and where I am in my life right now. And those days are okay, you know. So it's been up and down. It's been like a bit of a roller coaster, is the honest truth. But I think mostly it's been more depressing than anything else. Like that's what I've been feeling mostly.
I mean, do you find that it's even more depressing being away from your family? Because I mean,
you know, we moved to the UK. I moved to the UK now. It was in May last year. So it's about a year and 3 months ago. And I do miss my family, but I would be missing them anyway. I think what's been difficult is sort of acknowledging that we probably won't be able to come home for Christmas like we did last year, which is sad. My husband's father is old and not well, and you know, we've had some family health problems this year with various people in the family. So that's really hard, like not knowing when we'll be able to come back to South Africa to visit. That's hard. And I felt like I'd made such progress in that first year, you know, because London is hardcore, you know. It's competitive and it's difficult, and there's a million other performers trying to get the same roles that you want. And I'd been going for tons of classes, and I was going for auditions, and I feel like I'm going to have to sort of start all over again when it all opens up, which is really tough. So yeah, it has been hard from that perspective. But I don't know, politically and economically, I definitely am happier that I'm here. You know, like I feel like South Africa is very complicated and difficult, and so I just feel safer economically here. So it's been a bit of both, you know.
Speaking of the differences, how has London adapted to COVID? What is the scene like there?
So with London, we've been doing quite a bit of online. There's been a lot of online performances. So, I mean, I joined a Shakespeare company just as lockdown started, and we do a performance every Sunday. We're on YouTube, and we either do a play, one of Shakespeare's plays, or we do 5 or 6 scenes. So, and there are other companies doing that as well. You know, the National Theatre put a lot of their stuff online, and you could access that for free for a while. I think the Globe did as well. I think the RSC did as well. So all the theatres, it seems, have put on past productions onto their various platforms, and you've been able to access them that way. And then there are sort of live online performances happening. In terms of the theatres, the actual spaces, they're completely shut. There's no sort of knowledge of when they're going to reopen yet, which is really sad. But there are some open air spaces opening up again. So I have a singing teacher here who's now in an open air piece that I'm actually going to watch next week, and they're talking about starting to open up the open air theatres, hopefully towards the end of the year. So people have either been doing online performances or online masterclasses. There've been a lot of those as well. So I've done a lot of online masterclasses. I also think people are creating work, but I'm not really sure about that because I'm just not in that space right now. I'm just not in the space where I want to create my own work. I very much came here to be cast in. I want to perform, you know. So yeah, it's an interesting time. It's an interesting time here, and people are scared, but you also get the sense that theatre it's been around for so long, and it's the heart of this country. It's so embedded in the fabric of this country that I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. Yeah.
That's the kind of only positive that you have to look forward to, right? Like the fact that, well, the hope that it will happen again.
What is kind of cool about this is that theatre for such a long time has been a business, and the monopoly has been held by certain people and certain producers, and it's sort of put everyone back on a level playing field now. So now, you know, if you want to go and create a piece and pitch it to someone and put it on in a pub or put it on in a little courtyard somewhere, it feels like that's possible again, you know, because people are sort of starving for it again, you know. So I think you're going to see a lot more sort of what's that, Grotowskian, is it Grotowski, that poor man's theatre, like just a box and a couple of different shirts and, you know, and performers, which is what theatre is, right? It shouldn't be about the money and the revolving stages. I mean, the spectacle of theatre is wonderful, but performance in and of itself is about soul and heart and story. And I hope that is something that comes out of this.
I sometimes think, as airy-fairy as it sounds, I sometimes think that this COVID or this time in our lives has been put here to kind of give everyone a reset, even if it means like a reset in your way of thinking, like what's important in your life and taking stock of that, you know, but also a reset in order for people to like kind of get somewhere in life, you know, because it's kind of felt a little bit stagnant, and it's kind of felt like, you know, you can't afford to buy a house, you can't like
Yeah.
get industry, and now this time, like you say, everyone's on an even playing field. It's kind of like, yeah, you kind of one step further, I guess you could say.
And also, I think that well, society, I hope that society at large have just sort of been reconnected with what's important, you know.
Yeah.
Because what is important actually is family and health and healthcare workers and doctors and nurses and funding for hospitals, and not, you know, the Kardashians and fame and Hollywood and bullshit. Do you know what I mean? So I hope it has reconnected people with that. But I think only time will tell. Like, I only think we'll really know what this period has meant in decades time. You know, we'll sort of feel what happened and what this meant and what change took place. We'll only know retrospectively what this was, what this is, which is kind of sad, but that's just the way history works, right? You know, which is why we never learn from it.
Very, very true.
You know?
For people who don't know you and don't know your incredible body of work that you have listed on your CV, I want you to tell us your top 3 highlights.
Oh, that's easy. That's so easy. I mean, it's interesting. We can cut this, right, if it's bullshit, but I don't think I have such a huge body of work, you know, when you compare me to other performers in South Africa. I'm serious. No, I'm being serious, because for my age, like, things came really late for me. Like, things came super late. So if you look at people who, my contemporaries, like women who are my age, like, they've just got musicals that go on forever, and I've probably only got 5. So yeah, so that, I mean, that's besides the point, but it has been interesting how my career has the journey or the route that it's taken. So my very first one on my list, and we're not going in terms of favorites, I'm just going to give you 3.
Mm-hmm.
So the very first thing that happened to me, which was extremely seminal, was that I was cast in a production called Bash by actually my friend Daniel Janks, who is an incredible actor and one of my very best friends in the whole world. And we formed a little theatre collective with Jessica van Onselen, who's another one of my very best friends. And Daniel found this play called Bash by Neil LaBute. It's an American play. It's very dark. It's quite violent, but extraordinary writing and very challenging for an actor. And he brought us this play, and he said, I found this play and I really want to stage it. And we read it and we were completely in, and we got Megan Wilson to direct it, and James Alexander was the 4th actor. And that was an incredible experience for me, because I really feel like it was the first time I was trusted as a performer to take something on. And how do I say this without being rude? I just was not cast in a lot of stuff before that. I was auditioning a lot. I auditioned a lot through my career from when I graduated from drama school, and I auditioned for all the big musicals and all the big shows, and no one wanted to use me. And so I was really dejected, and I felt really shit about my ability. I didn't think I was very good. And doing this play was a literal turning point for me, because Megan gave me the confidence I think that I'd lost. and she is an incredible director, and she she saw that thing in me that I always knew that I had, but no one ever trusted or saw. So that play was amazing, because then I went from that play really, and things started to sort of just happen, because a lot of people saw me in it, and people went, oh, okay, wow, she can act. I was like, yeah, motherfuckers. So sorry, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, you know, it took a long time. It took too long. So then I did Funny Girl, which was one of the greatest experiences of my life at the Fugard Theatre. Matthew Wilde directed that, and Charles Johan Lingenfelder was the musical director, and that was a dream. You know when people talk about like finding their bliss, that was like my bliss. And I've never felt that before, and I don't know if I'll ever feel that again on stage. That was an incredible production as well, because I learned a lot just about musical theatre and how hard it is, and I gained so much respect for not that I didn't have it already, because I had been ensemble in a production before that, but I gained so much respect for ensembles and how much work they do and the effort that they put in. And I just loved every second of that experience. It was like, when you fall in love for the first time, or when you're falling in love with someone, that initial like heady, like you wake up in the morning and you're just flooded with like good feeling. It was like that from beginning to end. It was incredible. And then my third one is Avenue Q, which I did with you, Beck. And I think Avenue Q was amazing for me because, again, because I fucked up the audition so badly, actually, is what happened. My first audition was fine because you just had to go in and sing, and like, we do, that's what we do. And so we go in and we do that. And then the callback was with puppets. So we had to go in and work with the puppets. And I mean, we all fucked it up though, I think. Everyone who came out of there was basically in tears. So I just, like, I forgot my words, and I was sweating, and I was like, it was because I'd never worked with a puppet before. So I left that audition just going like, okay, well, great, thanks for seeing me, but whatever. And then my agent phoned me and told me I'd got it, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, but no, that can't be. I just said to her, like, but I fucked that audition. Like, I fucked it up. So it just shows you, right, that you just don't know. You just don't know. So that was incredible because we worked with Timothy LaRue on that, and David Werberhoff, and again, an incredible ensemble who I think were so terrified of what this meant and what this was, that we became this family. And I just remember opening night, we were terrified. I was terrified. And also because Avenue Q is such a cult musical, right? And it's so big and it's so well known in the industry. And I think there was a lot of pressure from a lot of corners. I think the people that Tim cast amazingly, and I take my hat off to him because he's a visionary, and he cast relatively fresh people. He didn't cast the people we had been seeing, year on year on year. He cast people who were new and fresh, and and I think we all felt that a little bit, and on opening night, you've got Sam Pio in the audience, and you've got LJ Nielsen, and you've got Claire Taylor, and you've got Carly Graham. And so you're just going, like you want to vom. But we did it, and people loved it. You know, they loved it. Like they lost their minds for it. So that was a really special time. That production was really special for me. Yeah, I think those are my top three for all very different reasons.
Lovely. Oh,
Yeah,
warm feelings. And I
I
mean,
know.
driving in Cape Town and seeing the billboard of you in Funny Girl, and I'm like, who the fuck is this bitch? And then
I did that too. I was driving in Cape Town and I saw the billboard of my own self, and I was like, who the fuck? No, that was quite a that was weird. That was so weird because, like, I mean, it was beautiful and wonderful, and I loved it. And I stayed in a flat on God, I can't remember the name of the streets, but in town, right by the theater. And I could see my own billboard out my window. So I would stand in the morning, like, and drink coffee, and I'd be like, this is so weird. Like, I couldn't quite understand it in my own head. It was amazing. It was amazing.
insane. I would actually like to know about your audition process for Funny Girl. Like, did you go in there thinking like, I'm gonna get this?
That's a really hard question to answer. I had been wanting to play that part since I was 16 years old. So I saw Funny Girl, the movie, when I was really young. My grandmother was a huge Streisand fan, which made me a huge Streisand fan. And I was really into all those old musicals, like Funny Girl and Hello Dolly. And I used to watch lots of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Like, I love that old vibe, right? And so yeah, I was doing Shrek at the Lyric with Stephen Stead, who is another amazing human being who also cast me without me having done a lot of work and put a lot of faith in me, which is amazing. And I heard that Funny Girl auditions were happening, and I didn't get asked to audition, so it was by invitation only. And and a lot of girls in the Shrek cast came in, and they were like, oh, I've got a Funny Girl audition. And I was like, no, no, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. And I thought about it a lot, because it's really hard. Like, you don't want to be that person that goes, I have to audition for this. And, so I thought about it a lot, and I spoke to a few people, and I spoke to my agents, and actually Drew Bakker and Rowan were on Shrek with me, and they called Charles and just said, look, would you be prepared to see Ashleigh? She's really keen. And Charles knew me. The few guys didn't know me, right? I think that was the thing. Like, I'd never worked with them. I'd never worked with Matthew. They didn't know who I was. But Charles had seen me audition, and he was like, absolutely, totally fine. So I went in, to cut a long story very, very short. I got all the music for the show. You didn't have to go in with other music. You got the show music. They were like, I think they wanted to cast it like as quickly as they could. Also because they had to fly to Johannesburg, and they didn't want to take months and months.
Yeah.
So I got all the music. I went through all the music, and I learned it over like 2 or 3 days. And then I went in, and I think 5 of us were asked to audition from Johannesburg. And I walked in, and we were all there together, which was really weird. And I hate auditions anyway. And so I was just like, this is the worst thing ever. And then I just thought I went in last, which I'm actually really glad about. So I just put in my earphones, and I blocked everything out, and I listened to a whole bunch of like AC/DC and the Stones. And then I went into my audition and I auditioned, and this is why I say it's weird about Avenue Q, because the second I started my Funny Girl audition, I just knew it was going really well. Like I just was like, this is going really well. And they made me sing a few times, and Matthew directed me a bit, and then I got a recall and I got some of the script, and I think I knew early on that like if I didn't get it, it wasn't because I wasn't good enough or I wasn't right. It was just because I don't know. Random things happen in this business, right? Like, you know, that they cast a leading man and he's too short for you, and so they have to, like those kinds of things or whatever. So I mean, I knew really early on. I knew, and I knew when I heard it was coming and that they were holding auditions, I knew in my soul that if there was ever a part I was meant to play, it was that one. So I don't know if that answers your question though, but yeah.
That feels, it's so interesting because I don't think that I feel as strongly about any role. I don't know, maybe I do, I'm just not really aware of it. But like the fact that you feel such a strong connection to it is very, very interesting.
Yeah. I think also because of the story of it, you know, like she is a very different looking woman, right? And that's the whole thing, right? Is that she's surrounded by these very beautiful women, the Follies girls, and they're, you know, they've just got these perfect bodies and these perfect faces, and they're all gorgeous in a very particular kind of a way. And I think I'd felt that my whole career was like I just didn't look right, or like I wasn't quite what they wanted. And I just felt like a really strong connection to that character, like, you know, just being overlooked a lot and being told no a lot. And so, yeah, I just felt, I kind of feel like I'm her and she is me. Well, certainly when I was doing the show, I felt like she is me and I am her. And there was a very, I sometimes couldn't tell the difference between us, which can be dangerous. So yeah, it was a fantastic, soul-filling experience. It was wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you find that in London they are more open-minded about casting? Because I know in South Africa, only until really recently, it's like a surprise if they cast someone who looks different, and you think, well, why is it a surprise that you've cast that person? Do you know what I mean? I think in South Africa, especially mainstream, there's very much that Folly girl is going to get the lead, you know, unfortunately.
Yeah. I've seen, I'm not an expert on how the London industry works. Like I'm still learning about it myself. What I have noticed here is that they cast incredibly young. So where in South Africa, you know, you would get someone probably in their 40s or 50s playing Donna in Mamma Mia. You'd probably get someone in their early to mid 30s playing Donna, and then the daughter would be like early 20s, like 19, 20, 21. So they cast incredibly young here, which is interesting for me because I'm being put up for much older roles than I was in South Africa. And in fact, the very first role that I got here is for like, I would never have been seen in South Africa for that part. You know, she's older and she's much more mature and she's quite decrepit and she's like, but she's great. She's, you know, very fascinating to play and just delicious because she's complex, you know. So there's the age thing, which is quite different here. And in terms of like a look, I've seen a few productions and I don't know. I mean, I think the scope of the shows here is greater. So you've just got a lot of you've got a lot of different kinds of shows here. You don't only have the big musicals like The Sound of Music, My Fair Lady, Phantom of the Opera. What else have we had? The big rock musicals in South Africa. You've got lots of different kinds of musicals. So you've got like, obviously the West End, which they're going to cast according to looks, because looks are part of the business. But you've also got like a musical on the West End, like Come From Away, which is not about looks. It's about quirkiness and difference and real life people. And, so I think it depends on the show. And then you've got, you've got these little independent theaters all over the place that are looking for fresh young talent and people who look different. And then of course, with the UK, which is why one of the reasons I love the UK so much, is that they've got such an incredible television and film industry here, which I haven't even like started to tap into because it's very hard, and you have to be connected. But certainly I find that in British TV and film, like they very much steer away from that beautiful thing. They're definitely casting everyday next door neighbor, real life gritty actors, good actors, So it's hard in South Africa because there just isn't enough stuff. So
yeah,
they're going to go with the big production and the beauty, and it's boring. It's boring. Sorry. It's completely boring, which I think is why Avenue Q was so exciting as well, is because it wasn't about that at all. It was about the puppets, and it was about these bizarre characters, Beck, like you played, like just these larger than life, very colorful, cartoonesque sort of characters. And I just wish we were seeing more of that in South Africa. It's just much more interesting to me.
But is South Africa ready for that? That's the thing.
No. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's very sad.
But that's the question, right? Like, and it's the question I find myself asking a lot, and you can also ask it of radio stations. Like, do we wait until the audiences are ready, or do we just give it to the audiences and go, here, listen to this, watch this, look at this? And I think theatre is different because theatre is expensive. To go and see theatre is expensive, and you have to budget for it, and producers are not willing to take risks, and I understand that. But certainly, like, when it comes to, my husband and I have this conversation a lot, because he's a musician and a singer, and he's a music maker, and we hear the same songs on the radio over and over, that 3.5 minutes formulaic stuff. And then you say to the radio stations, well, why don't you play more varied, sort of nuanced, complicated stuff? And people don't want to hear that. But no, they don't want to hear that because they don't even know it exists, because you don't play it for them, so where do you start to go, let's culturally educate people a little bit, not a whole lot, just like a bit, and grow their musical sort of what's the word, knowledge, or just like their musical literacy, like let them experience new things, or do we just keep playing Justin Bieber, Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, the same, which is great. I love that stuff. I'm a pop whore. I love it. But like, there's amazing other stuff out there, like let's hear all of it,
Okay. So I want to chat a bit about the fact that you had booked your first West End show and then lockdown happened.
So it wasn't a West End show. I have to be clear. Okay. It wasn't a West End show. It was a beautiful, beautiful open air production of Carousel. Okay. Which I was cast in, which I had been working. I spent so much money. I spent not on getting cast, but like I spent so much money on class, because you know, when you come to a new country, you're starting all over again. You're networking from scratch. You are showing people that you're out there, you're here, you're new, you're involved, you exist. So I'd spent lots of money on master classes and singing classes and headshots and spotlights and like just, you know, getting all of that up and running. And I'd spent a year working incredibly hard, and I finally got cast in this amazing show. And yeah, I think within a week it had been cancelled. And it was really, that was really devastating. It was devastating. Yeah, I struggled a lot, but I think I also knew that it had happened, it was out of my control, and it had happened to everybody. It happened to everybody, you know, and it affected so many people that I was sad, but I wasn't like inconsolable.
Right.
I think this time has also taught us how to rally and just get on with it, man, and just like make a plan, you know. So, but yeah, I was cast and I was really excited, and yeah, that's, we'll see. It might happen next year, you know, like when the theaters open up again, it might happen, and that would be amazing. But yeah, it was a bummer. It was a major bummer.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. One of the most amazing things that happened to me, I had been here, I think I'd been here 3 days, and my agent called me and said that they wanted to see me for School of Rock, which was amazing. I was just like, what? This is ridiculous. The West End production. So I went to that audition, and I really nailed it, and I got a recall, and I really nailed that. And I was like second choice for the female lead, for the cover for the female lead, and I didn't get it. But that was really amazing because it gave me like huge confidence. Like I made the right decision in coming. I was good enough. I could do this. I will get there. I will get there. It's just going to take time. But yeah, I've been auditioning for cruise ships and little tiny productions in little theaters, sort of, you know, in pubs and all kinds of things, you know. So it's just been really great to see how much stuff there is here. That's what's been really amazing, is that you can work here, you know. There is stuff happening. You just have to work hard, and you have to just have skin of like the toughest, thickest skin ever. It's hectic. It
sounds very scary, but also incredibly exciting. I mean, there's so much going on to choose from. It's just,
I mean, you know what's exciting is that it really feels like the center of so many things, like not just theater, you know. Like I'll never forget the one night I was driving home from something, and I turned on the radio, and I was listening to one of the BBC radio stations, and Brian May was being interviewed. He was in the studio, he was on the radio, and he was talking about Queen and his early days in Queen, and, you know, how the band formed, and his favorite songs. And so he curated the playlist, and he was playing these songs and introducing them and talking about why he loved them and how they influenced the band. And it's just like, if you wouldn't hear this in South Africa. Like, you wouldn't turn on the radio and hear Brian May. I've heard Elton John being interviewed, and Mick Jagger being interviewed. And then on a Sunday on BBC, I think it's Radio 2 or Radio 3, Elaine Page does an hour of musical theatre stuff. And just like, you just don't get that in South Africa. And I love South Africa and it will always be my home. And I don't want to be one of those people that puts South Africa down, but like it just wasn't working for me. I just was not fulfilled or excited, about things, about opportunities there. So I definitely feel like this has been absolutely the right decision, even with COVID. I just feel like I belong here, myself. That's just my personal story or experience, it's been pretty amazing and hard and scary. And, like it's not a picnic and, you've got to make money here or, I mean, you're fucked if you don't have a job and you're not making money and you're not, it's hard. It's a hard city. It's really tough.
Question: how are you making money during lockdown?
So I've done a lot of things since I arrived in London to make money because I love money. I love money. There's very little that I won't do for money, like very little. Okay. So I had a few jobs and then they all obviously came to an end because of COVID because they were all office based and whatever. So I took on a care working job during COVID, and I'm now a care worker, which has been, I mean, it has been a ride. I can't even tell you. Like, it's been so interesting on a number of levels. So like, it's just been interesting to see, there are certain things I thought I would never do in my life that I'm doing and I'm okay with and I'm enjoying it. It's really interesting to see just how much I do love money because like I was like, care working job, amazing, let's go. And it's been amazing. I go into people's homes, mainly the old and infirm, so people who are in their 80s and 90s, and I bath them, wash them, help them with personal care, cook for them, give them their medication, chat to them, make them a cup of tea, whatever they need doing, and it's been really amazing because I feel like I've connected more in these last 4 months doing that work with the country and the society and the culture than I was before this, because I'm in people's homes now and I'm responsible for their well-being, and they're so lovely and they're so welcoming and they're so grateful. And so that's been really interesting. So I've been doing that. And then I also have a copywriting business, which I run on the side. So I've been doing a lot of copywriting for quite a few different clients, basically all over the world, which has been amazing. Yeah, like fun, really fun little jobs and writing for different businesses. And I've learned so much. I can't even tell you. It's been really great. It's been really great on that level. It's been really great. And I'm earning money, which is the most important thing. So, yeah.
I have one more question for you. So obviously you mentioned your husband is also a musician, and the two of you have got a little duo going. Is that still happening? Tell us.
So we have a little duo called Josie Flo, and my husband is Kieran Rennie, and he is amazing. He is an amazing singer. I think I've learned he's made me a better singer because he can just wake up in the morning, those people who can just wake up in the morning and they just got it. You know what I mean? Like it's there. You know what I mean? Like you.
Yeah.
And some of us, myself, and this isn't my acting. I'm a much stronger actor than I am a singer. But like my singing, I've had to really work, like I've had to fuck off. I've had to but I have I've had to work on my technique. Like I came to singing lessons here. I was seeing 2 singing teachers, because I had to get my technique to a better place. So he's an amazing singer, pushes me to be a better singer. And we have a duo called Josie Flo, and I think we're going to keep that name because we love it, and it is who we are, and we're Joe Burgers, and and that's cool. So before we left Joburg, we were gigging, all over the place. Like we were doing lots of parties and pubs and outdoor venues and whatever. And we came to London and we brought all our equipment with us, and we started doing open mic nights, and we'd booked a bunch of gigs. People dug us. They were like, "You're amazing." We booked all these gigs, and then like literally a week later, COVID. So like we were just like, what the fuck? Like everything was starting to like, I booked the show. We had these gigs. We were like, look at us, man. We're like the A-list couple, man. No, we weren't that. But like we were so excited because we were like, we are fucking nailing this thing. We are teaching London who is boss, and then bam, COVID. And we were like, oh fuck. We were like, oh, that didn't work out. So then we took our gigging online, which was wonderful. So we gigged online for I think about 2 or 3 months. We were doing little live Facebook things on a Tuesday. But we're not doing them anymore because we're both working so hard now. We're exhausted. We are completely exhausted. So we haven't done that in a while, and we might do it every now and then. But we're hoping now that the pubs are starting to open up again and stuff, that's, I don't know, that we'll be able to start gigging, So we'll see. But it's fun. We do covers. We do quite a lot of pop and rock stuff and some swing stuff. We love swing. So songs that make us happy. We don't do songs that other people love, because fuck other people.
I think I tuned into your swing gig once, and I kept like going on the live chat saying stuff to you, and you weren't fucking replying, and I was like,
well, because Rebecca, I couldn't see my screen, could I?
But you were replying to everybody else, and you're like, oh, shout out to so-and-so, shout out to my best. I'm like, what? Hello, I'm here, I'm also watching, I'd also like a shout out, and it never happens. I was like, well, fuck you.
I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, that's been, those little live gigs have been fun. So like we don't do, all the like all the songs that people love, like Sweet Home Alabama. Fuck that shit. I'm never singing that song. I hate that song. So yeah, we sing what we love, which is cool. It's fun.
Kimby, if you could request a song from their band, what would you ask them to play? I want to see if Ashley will say yes, or if it's a shit song or not.
I can't think of any music now.
No, man, just think of one. Just say it.
Do you know what? I am obsessed with the Talking Heads at the moment. Maybe like some Psycho Killer or something like that.
I don't know what that is.
Maybe it's like, when someone's like, name a color, and you're like,
sorry, I sprung on you.
Do I know Talking Head? I don't think I know them. Also, this is the thing, like I don't know a lot of stuff. I just don't know a lot of stuff. Like I would have to go learn that song, which is cool because then I'm learning, right? But more pop. Like think more pop.
Okay, like as in modern day pop, or like what kind of?
Yeah, or old school pop. Like any pop. I'm down with pop and rock. Rock is cool.
I like David Bowie. You could do some Bowie for me.
Yeah, okay. I love David Bowie. Yeah. There was a boy.
Yeah,
totally. I love Bowie. That would be amazing.
What about if I requested some Ariana Grande?
Totes. I can only do I'm so into you, I can barely breathe. Yeah, I can do that one. I don't know any other Ariana stuff, but I dig her. She's power, man. She's amazing.
People judge me when I say that I like her. They're like, why would you be into that person? But I am.
know, but people have weird preconceived ideas of pop and what pop is and what pop stars are, you know. And granted, some pop is really crap, but like pop is pop. It's popular music. It's wonderful. Pop is amazing. It's happy music, you know.
I agree.
And she's great. And I'm sure you've watched her being interviewed. She's divine. She's sweet, man. She's a cool chick. So yeah, we like her. She can stay. Have you seen her on Jimmy? Is it Jimmy Fallon? Is it Jimmy Fallon?
Yes.
She does Christina, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Celine.
Yeah, she does Celine. God. And Celine is like, Celine's one of the greats, right? So yeah, she is amazing. She's very cool.
You made me forget my next question, but it was a good one. Oh, sorry. I just want to backtrack a little bit because it was a question that I wanted to ask, and then we didn't get to it. So you studied drama at Wits, right?
Yeah. Yes.
What point were you like, oh, musical theatre is cool?
I had loved musical theatre before I even went to Wits. I loved watching musicals and I always sang. I loved singing, but I never danced. I was not a dancer. So I didn't go to any dance training as a child. And it's weird. Like we had a lot going on as a family when I was in high school. Like my dad was really sick and things were not great. We didn't have money. Like things were really bleak, like really, really not good. And so I didn't really have the sort of home environment where I could sit down with my parents and go, this is what I want to do. And let's go and look at a bunch of drama schools and then, you know, have them help me choose and whatever. It was really left to me to do all of that by myself. And when I was in matric, we had the Wits Drama School Shakespeare company came and did some Shakespeare workshops with us, with Malcolm Perky. And they were so much fun that I was like, this is the coolest thing that's happened to me in a really long time. Because my home life wasn't great and school wasn't great because I was a bit of a nerd and I was bullied and it wasn't my favorite time. And so when these drama school students came and did the Shakespeare, I was like, oh, this is me. It resonated, right? So I went to the director. I went to Malcolm because he was doing a production of Romeo and Juliet. I went to Malcolm and I sat with my friend Carrie, my very good friend Carrie, and we said, please, can we be in your production of Romeo and Juliet? And he said yes. And we were like, what? We didn't expect him to say yes. We were just like, on a whim. We said to each other, I want to do this. And she was like, I want to do this too. And then we said, well, let's just go and ask him. And we totally thought he would say, thanks, girls. But he said yes. And we were elated. We were just elated. So we were part of that production and our parents drove us to Wits every night. And I mean, they were really cross with us because Wits is far, you know. We were in the northern suburbs. Well, I mean, Joburg North, which technically isn't the northern suburbs, but like, so yeah, they were like, what the fuck? Anyway, that was my introduction to Wits Drama School. And it was just like obvious that I would then study there the following year. Like that was just the obvious thing for me because it was there. I knew the students, I knew the lecturers, I knew the system. I felt safe there, and so yeah, I enrolled as a drama student the following year. And they didn't have a musical theatre course back then, so I really focused mainly on Shakespeare and acting, which is where my deep love of Shakespeare comes from.
This was still when dinosaurs roamed the land.
Becca has a thing about my age. She says I'm really old. I mean, look, fuck you.
I mean, did you not just tell us like 10 minutes ago you were cast as an old lady, an old decrepit lady? And
For my age, it's wrong, Rebecca.
as you were describing her, I was like, this sounds exactly like your Instagram bio. I'm confused why you are confused.
You're such a bitch! You're such a bitch to me. I don't know why I put up with this abuse. So, yeah, so I studied at Wits, and then I only really sort of got into singing and musical theatre afterwards, you know, like once I was done there. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a all over the show sort of thing for me. But I'm grateful. I don't think I'd want to just do one thing. I get bored very quickly. So I love that, like, on a Sunday, I'm doing Shakespeare. I'm doing Julius Caesar on Sunday. I'm playing a few parts in Julius Caesar. And then I have, like, a singing lesson with my singing teacher, and we're doing some work on a thing that he's writing. So, like, I love the variety. I don't want to just do one thing. I think that would be really boring, you know? Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much for being a guest. We had such a lovely time with you.
Oh, thanks, guys. And well done for doing this. It's very enterprising and exciting. So, yeah, good job.